Mncube. I'm the founder of Hope Spring Eternally Introduction Agency and the founder of Ngosi Talk Show. So with me today, I have Kamal. Please, Kamal, introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Nomsa. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you may be, wherever you may be watching. My name is Kamal Amer. I am a certified life purpose coach. I am also a NLP trainer, master practitioner, and hypnotherapist. I find joy and pleasure in helping people uncover their purpose in life. And I do that with the help of ancient Egyptian methodologies, NLP, and we bring all of those two worlds together to help you live a more satisfying and fulfilled life.
Thank you so much, Kamal. So our topic today is how to own your own mind. And please, can you explain to our audience? And I'm glad that we are talking about this topic, because you can teach us your NLP, how you manipulate our minds to be where we want to be. Please take the stage.
Manipulate the mind, that's such a bad word. Let me put it this way. With the mindset, or how to own your mind, this is not the first time that it has been spoken about. It doesn't come from nowhere. Many people have done it, many cultures have done it. As a martial artist, I practiced that, and I have been taught how to practice even before I understood NLP. So, and it's also taught in various faiths as well. Of course, in a different way. Now, I'm not going to go into the faith perspective of it, but it exists, and it has always been there, and it has always been part of our life. The only down thing is that people don't think of it, and they believe it's something else. So to come back to the main thing is, what is controlling your mind or owning your mind? And that is allowing yourself to be complete from within, allowing yourself to feel the feelings that you have, to understand them, to process them, to be mindful of your state of mind, to be also content in some sort of way with who you are. So that mindset of owning your mind is related to everything about life within you. And it takes practice. Some people have it as a gift, perhaps, but it takes practice. It takes you some time to realize what it means to own that mind of yours. So that's the introduction, maybe, of how I see it, and how one can control their own mind.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. I actually agree with you, because what you're saying, that you can actually control it so it doesn't work against you. And also, when you go for job interviews, and you're preparing that big presentation, those frustrating customers, and preparing for your important date when you're going out with meeting someone for the first time, you can actually use what you just said, basically, to actually prepare your own mind, so you actually turn up as authentic as you can, as you, because sometimes we let our mind work against us, because we believe that some people, they expect, we believe that there are things that people want to hear from us. We don't actually show up as who we are. And also, we look at people, we judge them, we think, oh, they figure their lives out. But sometimes the people, they haven't. They just have worked out how to manage their mind, how to actually use their mind to work for them, not against them. So we start judging ourselves. So that's how I see what mind is about. Um, how do we open up to our mind in your own mind, or do you want to actually make a comment to what I
I'll,
just said?
I'll actually make a comment on what you're saying because it reminded me of a client that I have, and a fascinating lady, and she she has lived her life just doing the right thing for others, forgetting that she is part of the equation, forgetting that her contribution to her life means something. And it came to a point where now that she wants to explore, after of course a year of confinement, and it hit her that, wait, what do I really want to do for myself, right? What is my purpose or my purposes in life? And the interesting thing is that she has been in a very, let's call it an eye-opening moment of her life, and she is still not seeing the threads or the golden threads in her life at what she's done and how she's lived her life, how that can relate to her purposes in life. And one of the biggest mistakes, obviously, that a lot of people do that um, consider themselves to be doing things for others or caring to the needs of others, right, is that they forget that they are doing it for a personal reward. And it's not even that they are expecting something in return, but this is what they believe is right, and therefore seems in a sense selfless, right? um, and I don't believe anybody is selfless. It's not possible. And of course, I might have some uh, backlash here. You see, I too have a phone that's ringing in the background now, and it's far away. But the backlash is that people want to believe that they are selfless, that they are doing things for the sake of helping others and no reward in return. And it's contrary to that. They have an internal reward system for themselves. They have a way of rewarding themselves subconsciously, and they just don't want to admit it, right? And I'm not saying you can't, you don't have to try and be selfless. It's a great value to try and have, and a lot of people are brought up in that sense. However, you must realize that not everything is about others, and finding your own self, finding the reasons behind why you do things, finding some kind of purpose, not finding it, or uncovering some kind of purpose in your life, helps you evolve, helps you reach a state of self-awareness that will elevate you from the rest of the crowd, or if I may say so, the rest of the herd. And I say that because everybody is conditioned, everybody is indoctrinated, whether it is by society, by the governments, by their parents, to live a life of mundane life, if I may say so. And I've said it many times. It's not about the 9 to 5. It's not about coming back home and taking care of the kids and then going back to having a cuddle time or watching a movie or going to bed. That's not life. Life is much more than that. And exploring who you are is the root of finding out how you can manage your mindset. And when you were talking about interviews or going out to people and being authentic, people struggle with that because they just want to be liked. They want people to accept them, but they don't even accept themselves. So how's that going to work? I mean, you got to accept yourself first in order for others to accept who you are. I've said it again and again. I go out and I do what pleases me, how it pleases me, as long as I'm not harming anybody. And at the end of the day, if people don't like it, It's their problem. I enjoy being who I am. So that authenticity comes from self-awareness. That self-awareness comes from managing your mind and understanding why you do these behaviors and if they are serving you or not. Now that's the NLP part. If they're not serving you, what behaviors would you like to have and how can you implement them? What behaviors are serving you still, but are getting results that are not wanted results? Do you want to change them? Do you need to change the environment? How can you manage all of that if you do not understand yourself, if you do not dig deep enough, cry your balls out, and be aware that what you are doing makes sense to you, especially to you, not to others. So I don't know, that's my take on it.
Actually, I agree with you, Kamal, when you were saying people do things to be liked. I was talking to one of the speakers yesterday. She wants to do something, so we were having a conversation. I said to her, I really like what you're doing, it's amazing. And she said to me, but sometimes I feel like I worry about the views or on social media. I worry about the likes. So I said to her, what are you doing this for? Because when you made a decision that you wanted to do this, you made this decision yourself because you love doing this. So what is the point of doing it and then expect to have 1,000 views? Instead of what if somebody message you private direct and say, I love what you do, could you please help me with this? What will be important to you? That message, that one message, than the people who have viewed your video 1,000 times and they haven't even bothered to contact you. So she was like, oh, you make sense. So I said to her, you need to, whatever decisions you want to make moving forward right now, you need to make up your own mind and do these things because it's something that you love, because it is you. And then you can share it with somebody else. If you have a mind of, I'm gonna do this because like I love it, like you are here at Ngozi Talk Show, Kamal, it is your choice. You come here, you empower people because it is your choice. It is something that you love to do. And anybody else that enters your life and are saying, Kamal, could you please help me? It's already your baby. It's already something that you love coaching, and they are entering your world to basically, they want you to share what you already know. But if you are doing the coaching and because of the views, because of the likes, that does not make sense to me.
No, I mean that's obvious, but that's the problem. It, like, a lot of people fall into that trap of course, with social media and all of that. It's like, oh, I want to be liked, I want to be all of that, I want to be famous. And it's fine to be famous, it's great, it's wonderful, it's nice to have the spotlight, but are you doing it for the spotlight, or are you doing it to help people, like you're saying? What's your aim at that, what you're doing?
Yeah, that is true.
And it's sad in a sense. It's sad to see that, because I mean, a lot of people are doing that, and a lot of people are falling into that social media trap where they're, oh, look at me, I'm going hiking, oh, look at me, I'm going for a walk, oh, look at me, I got this and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And and what do you want? Do you want a cookie? Here's a cookie. It's like, it makes no sense. But people are missing that attention. They're trying to grab attention. They might have had trauma in their life, lack of attention from their father, their mother, their siblings, their friends, their loved ones, and they're attempting to reach out to the unknown world to get that attention from them. The question is, have you looked deep enough inside yourself to see why you seek that attention? Can't you seek that attention from yourself first? Look into the mirror. You know, I love that song about, like, the Michael Jackson song, Man in the Mirror. It's an absolutely fantastic song because seriously, look at that person and the man with a big M so nobody gets offended. Look at that mirror. Look at yourself in the mirror. Do you see the person that you want to be for the rest of your life? Do you see the person that is fair, just, honorable, balanced in life? Is that who you want to be for the rest of your life? Or are there changes that you can implement? Are there changes that you can do bit by bit to like yourself in the mirror? Because it's about liking yourself, not others. As many likes and loves and cuddles and all of what you are looking for on social media and outside there for people to like you, you will still have a hole in you because you do not like yourself. There's no running away from it. I can't hear you.
That is so true. Basically, I think if I was to go back to 10 years ago, this is who I used to be. I used to lie to myself, and I go on social media and everything is fine, and I pretend everything is fine because that was the image that I wanted people to see at that moment. But then at the time went, I just went, this is not right. This is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. Even though I wanted the people to see this amazing person that I am, but inside of me, I'm telling myself lies. I was lying to myself because I still have that darkness inside of me that I needed to work on myself, that I needed to accept. I needed to accept Nomsa for who Nomsa was. No, actually, wanting people to tell me how great I am, to tell me how amazing I am, so I can feel good about it. So when somebody tells me that, Nomsa, I like you guys, what you're doing at Ngozi Talk Show, I like your talk show, I'm like, thank you so much. So I have to have a conversation. In that conversation, I'm grateful that actually I'm doing something that people love. And even on the inside of me as well, I have to feel it. So what I decided to do was, okay, I am a love harmonist. So what do I need to do for me with my mind to actually feel that feeling? I had to live that character. So I'm living the character at home. So everything that when I speak on social media, sometimes I think you've seen my pictures. Sometimes I close my eyes, I take a picture, I'm praying. This is who I am, baby. There is no pretense. I pray with God, I close my eyes. This is Nomsa. I'm vulnerable, I'm broken, I'm not 100% complete, and I'm gonna be that way. But I'll figure out my life, what is yours inside of me. I'll figure out how to work with my mind, to work with me, not against me. And the most thing that I love is I'm surrounded by people who are like that. And I don't want you guys to be perfect. You are just good for me. You are just perfect for me. Although I know that there's no such thing as perfect. There's no such thing as 100% perfect. But if I can get along with myself and get along with my speakers and give them that unconditional love, to me, that is real. And if you guys get to know my bonkersness anyway, so I don't have to hide who I am. But some people, they will show off this character on social media. Look at me. For me, if you see my picture with my children, with my men, that means we've taken 20 pictures before that one. I have screamed at them, begging them, please come and take pictures with me, and they're like, no, we don't want to. Why? I'm like, please. And I'm saying to my men, come and take pictures with me. He's like, I don't want to take a picture. This is a nightmare. And then he says yes. But when I post the finished product, you are like, wow, Nomsa, she's amazing. Hey, these lovely couples, but you don't know what happened before that.
Right, exactly. And that's an important factor of the work that people, for those of whom want to explore themselves, right? There's a lot of work that is needed in the background, and you don't have to share it with the rest of the world. You don't have to say that you're going to see a coach, or that you have a business coach, or that you have a love harmonist, or that you have this and that, or you're doing this, or because that's all show, right? What you must do as a person, and I'm using like extreme words, right? You must do it. You must do what is right for yourself. Find that part of you that would like to do something and explore it. And if you get bored, explore something else. But all that work that you're doing for yourself, it has a reward. It has self-awareness as a reward. It has that self-contentment. It has that satisfaction and fulfillment of your life. So never underestimate that, the power of all the work that you're doing, the hard work and the cries and the lamentation. It's not easy. It is not easy. As they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And imagine that is yourself you're talking about. So all that what you have gathered for the past, 30, 40, 50 years of your life, even 20s, that will impact who you are. Do you still want to be that person? Are you satisfied to live the rest of your life like that? Or do you want to do some inner work and realize that you have greater potential for yourself before others? And that's what you're doing. Like, you see, that's the same thing happens with these pictures that you're taking, right? You want to take a photo, like when you go and take a photo shoot at a professional, they take hundreds of pictures, if not thousands of pictures. And at the end, you end up with like 10 or 15 pictures that you're satisfied with. But there's a reason, there's a lot of work behind it. They have to go through that process in order to figure out what is best. And that's the same thing with the self, with your mindset, with the emotions that you want to express, how you're expressing it. If you want to go to an interview, do you wait the last moment to practice and see what you want to do? Or do you put yourself in a state of mind like, okay, so this is going to be the interview. I'm going to have that mindset, and I'm going to have this mindset, and I'm going to do this kind of meditation. Prepare yourself. Like you prepare yourself for an interview, which I'm sure a lot of people do. Prepare yourself for different situations in life. Prepare yourself to be disappointed. Prepare yourself to be angry. Prepare yourself to be upset. Prepare yourself to be happy, to be joyful, to be content, to be rich, to be poor. And all of these are mindsets that you can practice. Imagine how it would be. Feel those emotions and those feelings. Feel them internally. See the images. Hear what you would sound like. See how you would like to handle it. Not for the sake of just, going through it, but for the sake of knowing how to handle the situation that arises in your future, even if it doesn't arise. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that people tend to do when they are learning about mindset or trying to manage their behaviors, like for instance, anger, right, or frustration. They wait until it happens to try and solve it. Be proactive in your life. You know that word that they use in interview, are you a reactive or proactive person? Be proactive with yourself. Put yourself in a situation before it happens so that you know how to deal with it with the best possible outcome. Then it will be all right. Takes work.
That is so true, Kamal. I actually agree with you. I've seen some of the speakers, this is a talk show, basically. It means we talk about anything, like you have your coaching business. So when you have a coaching business, you're an NLP, you actually had to build your business from the scratch, writing your business plan. And everyday life, you have kids, you have all this. So Ngozi Talk Show, it means we talk about everyday lives, and it's a community. So when I used to say, when I put a topic, the speakers will be like, this is not my field. And I'm like, but you have a business. And they couldn't understand it from the beginning, what they needed to do. And I was like, but if we are talking about this topic, you have already have a successful business, you are a coach, you have a successful business, so you should be able to give somebody advice of how to start your own, the basically the basic things. Obviously you're not a business coach, but you should be able to give someone some basics, how the struggles, the things, to pitfalls to avoid and things like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I've seen that. You guys never complain. Some of the speakers never complain, and now I see that when everyone puts a topic, everyone wants to talk about it. Not people are actually adapting, starting to realize what the topic is about. So which is what basically I was like when I started the talk show. We were like, okay, the talk show is about everyday life. Just because I love running, it doesn't mean I can't do other things. So I basically have to use my mind to adapt, because like we were talking about challenges, that you have to prepare yourself for tomorrow, so that when challenges comes, you're not gonna get stuck and say, I don't know how to do this, or I can't do this. Basically, if you don't know, that means you know somebody else that can do it for you. So like at Ngozi Talk Show, there's lots of speakers, different coaches. It's like when challenges comes, your mind can say, actually, I don't know how to do this, but I know somebody in the group that can help me to do this. That is actually working with your mind and thinking to success. Because we get stuck. Some people get stuck on what they know. But if you look at Tony Robbins, you look at Les Brown, you look at Lisa Nicholson, they talk about relationships, they talk about business, they talk about all different topics, but it was a choice that they had to learn all these things. So I don't know, what is your take on this one?
Well, no, it's very simple. I mean, we can talk and give opinions about what we feel and what we think about certain subjects. And that doesn't deviate from the fact that we could be a business coach, an NLP coach, a mindset coach, a life purpose coach, whatever kind of niche you might have, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't prevent you from having an opinion about subjects. The thing to remember is that when we're having a conversation, let's say we're four speakers and coaches and having a conversation, the four of us, the people that listen in, right, they will have four different opinions, and they will have the option in front of them. Instead of having just one person talk about the same thing on and on and on, right, they have different options now to listen to. And that's the same thing when it comes to listening to mentors, right? You can have one mentor, yes, but it doesn't harm to have two or three. It doesn't harm to have another coach, right? Because you then learn to see what suits your kind of genuine lifestyle, or what is more authentic to you. Remember that as much as you want to go, as much as a lot of coaches and businesses work that way, they want to go out into the world and sell and try to get clients to come to them, and you want to have these customers buy things from you, whatever kind of business it is, right? The client has to trust you. The customer has to trust you. The customer has to feel that you make a difference in their life, whatever it is you may be selling, right? And that's a connection. And that connection is built by personalities, it's built by relationships, it's built by the rapport that you create with people. And it has nothing to do with the how you do the sales, or if it's cold calling or whatever it is. There's a click that happens when you open your mouth with certain people. These are the people that will come to you. Whatever it is you may be selling or working on, it works the same way all over the place. If you have that click, if you have that connection with these people that feel connected with you, they'll come and listen to you. even if they don't buy today. They will get to know you. They will keep you in their minds. And when the time comes, they will come and only come to you because they remember you, because you made an impact, you make a difference in their life. And that's basically what you want to make in this world, Nomsa. You want to make a difference in the world, right? By gathering all of those coaches and making a talk show with coaches and speakers. And you're not the first one that does that, right? There are many people that do the same thing. And they do podcasts and all of that. But you're doing it for a reason. You want to help people. And I'm sure all of, or most of, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but most of the speakers and the coaches that come on talk shows, whether it's yours or others, they also want to help people. Yes, in their mind, they probably want more clients. Sometimes others, they just want to share that knowledge and experience and expertise that they have, because we are seeing this humanity, or like my grandmother used to say, the decadence of humanity. It is absolutely horrifying to see the world, that how people are treating each other and how it's turning out to be. So why not work on ourselves, excuse me, to make it a better place for ourselves to live in, not only our children and grandchildren, but ourselves first. We want to live in a life that, or a world that is harmonious, with some sort of balance in it, with love, with understanding, without prejudice. How do you do that? Well, you dig deep into yourself first, because all of these traits or bad traits or behaviors, they're inside of you first. You see the world how you want to see it, not how it truly is. So what is the difference that you want to make in the world? Ask yourself that question. Really ask yourself that question. Sit down. What difference do you want to make in the world? And it's all right if you don't want to make a difference. It's your prerogative. You're allowed to be selfish, not judging you. You're allowed to just want to have more things and be materialistic, or be a shaman, or just go and live alone in the jungle or in the desert. It's absolutely your right. But if you do want to make a difference, what is that difference that you want to make?
So true, Kamal. I agree with you. The goes to talk show is to make a difference. It's basically, I'm doing it because I love doing what I do, and at the same time, for me, I have to love it for people to actually connect with me. So that's why I basically refuse to be basically with the social media to say I'm gonna put off by likes or views. How many views do I have? Because I have people actually messaging me saying, oh, I tune in at Ngozi Talk Show, or sometimes when I'm late, is people will be saying, oh, when are you on? Are you coming on? So I'm like, but I've never seen you watching the talk show. And they're like, I watch it. It depends on who comes on. So I tune in. I know it's at 1 p.m. So I am your big fan. So I'm like, okay. So you'll be surprised at how many people. So it gives me joy to know that there's somebody, and there's some people, there's few people that send me messages and saying, I watch your talk show. And now I decide that I'm gonna do this. There are things in my life that I have not been doing. So it gives me great pleasure for somebody to say, not to say, Nomsa, I like you, but if you say I'm gaining something from Ngozi Talk Show, that gives me joy, because I know that Ngozi Talk Show is doing something, and all these speakers that are coming here and impacting people, I know that they're doing it for love. There are some speakers that actually they treat Ngozi Talk Show as their own. And I've noticed as well, when you work with people, you don't have to you don't have to actually figure out who is with you, who is not. You can see people that are actually connected with the talk, and that it gives me pleasure to say, okay, these people, they want to do this, and I'm just gonna continue regardless of whether I don't have views or what, because I know that Ghost Talk Show people are watching it, and one day we're gonna touch millions and millions, and that, to me, that gives me a great pleasure. And also looking at myself and asking myself and getting to know myself, that also that it makes Ghost Talk Show, and accepting the things that I'm not. I'm sure you guys have seen me messaging people and saying, please, can you help me with this? Because that is me being vulnerable and saying, I don't know it all, because I will be not normal. If I know it all, then that means I'm not normal. So I'm able to admit that, okay, I have these speakers that I'm surrounded with. So I'm sure one of them, I didn't know you were a creative person, and you came out with your creativity when you were designing all that Ghost Talk Show thing. And I was like, I've been working with him with the Legacy Wealth Talk. How come I never knew he is creative? So it made me happy that I've gave you that opportunity. I've opened the door for you to say, Kamal, you can be who you want to be. So I'm actually looking forward to actually see your talents, guys. What your talents. I'm actually looking forward to see what you guys are telling. Where's your talent? So some people are coming out with their talent. Some people are still hiding their personalities, but that's okay, because it takes time. And it's a mind that people have to work on. So I'm waiting to see you guys unlocking your true potential. And so I can actually, but at this moment in time, I'm really, really grateful that I get to see your talents. I get to see other people's talents. I get to see who you guys are, because I have allowed you, and you guys have allowed me to get to know you, to get to know the real you. I think if the audience are watching, or anyone who has a business, if you have people that you're surrounded by, allow people to show you their talent, because just because you are a CEO, it doesn't mean you know everything. You might have a genius within the company and not knowing it, and which is something that I'm learning with you guys. I'm learning that I've got this one, I've got this one, I've got this one. So I say to God, thank you, and I hope they stay. I say, thank you, Jesus, thank you, God.
Yeah, but that's also what you're creating as well, right? It has become more of a community than anything else, and you see these connections with the speakers when they're talking, right? And it's fascinating, because this is also part of the tribe that you are creating, the tribe that you want to live with, the tribe that you want to grow with. They might not be your oldest friends in the world, but these are the people that help you grow, and at the same time you support each other, right? It's a support system. And that's how, for instance, Nkosi Talk Show works, and you're discovering new things from different people, different speakers. Everybody's got hidden talents, if you will. The interesting thing is that this works with the rest of the world. So for those of you who are listening, this doesn't apply only to businesses. Now, we're talking about Nkosi Talk Show, but we're also talking about life itself. You have a support system around you as a human being, whether it's parents, family, peers, and that support system that you have, you need to be aware of who, if they're draining you down or if they are lifting you up. Of course, you don't want to be put on a pedestal, and you can't reach that pedestal. But what I'm talking about is that support system of people that you can rely on, somebody that you can that can be honest with you, and at the same time be kind and compassionate to you, somebody that can tell you off when you're doing something that doesn't seem right in your perspective, right, in your reality. and at the same time that you could support as well in their growth, right? It's about growth. If you want to grow, you need to allow yourself to grow first, but at the same time, you need to have that support system around you that allows you for that growth. And sometimes we are surrounded by people that don't allow us to grow. We're surrounded by family members that drain you down, that bring you down because that's where they want you to stay. People get into relationships and stay in relationships, and they feel tied in this relationship because they have kids, because it's been so long. But that relationship pulls them down, not even drains their energy, but pulls them down from the potential of who they can or might be. So pay attention to the people that surround you. Pay attention. Are they supporting you because they want to help lift you up? Are you doing the same with them? Or are these people that are just keeping you chained and not being able to uncover that growth, that potential that you have in you, to uncover your purposes in life, and telling you, no, you know what, this is rubbish. Don't go and do a business. Just keep your 9-to-5 job and make sure that you have your, I don't know what they're called in the States, but your retirement plan. And you retire when you're 65 or 67, and you have a retirement plan and you're safe. Play it safe like the majority of people. What if you don't want to play it safe? What if you want to risk it all? Many people, most of the people that have what they want to live, the way they want to live, are who they want to be, are authentic. They have risked everything to do things that they found passion in, that they found joy and fulfillment in, and satisfaction. People have traveled distances to just do a one show, for instance, for 10 people, just because they believe that this is who they have to be and who they want to be, and that is what they want to do for the rest of life. People have traveled miles and miles and miles just to help a single person get on their feet. So that potential is in every one of us. You need to have that support system around you that will help you, that will support you, that will encourage you, but at the same time that will whack you on the back of the head to tell you, come back and this is not realistic, right? And put you on the realistic path, because some people are dreamers and they are only dreamers, but there's a point where dream and reality has to fit in, right? And to have that support system of people, of peers, of colleagues and family members, or loved ones, that can, give you a nice slap on the bum, like the old days. I know now it's not allowed, but the idea of it, to bring you back to reality and say, okay, you want to do this? Okay, let's bring a paper and a pen and let's go and think a little bit logically. How can you start right now? What is the first step? What is the next step? What is the third step? How are we going to reach that? That's the support system that you want in your life. These are the people, the friends that truly you need by your side for the rest of your life. So I am also grateful for the amount of people that I've met, and coaches and speakers that we've met through Nkosi, because I find we have amazing conversations, and there's so much growth and learning that we can gain from each other, and I'm so grateful for that. But thank you for putting it up together, Nomsa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. You've been with us since Legacy Wealth Talk. So I was telling this girl that I was talking to yesterday, I was like, do you know what destroyed Legacy Wealth Talk? It was the views and the likes that puts my partners off, that we're not getting any likes. But because with me, I am a child who comes from nothing. Although my stepdad came from a wealthy family, he was wealthy, but I still see myself as my parents. I came from nothing, but I didn't have the tools of these everything that we are learning now. All the tools that I had was from my parents, just giving me advice to believe in myself and to do things. But what I did was I knew that I knew the person that I wanted to become, and I knew the environment where I lived. I knew I didn't like it. So I knew that my parents were supportive of the decisions that I wanted to make. So all I did was to ask my parents, if I was to travel, would you guys allow me? So they were like, yes. So I remember organizing. I was like, I'm going to sort everything out, my travel and everything. I sort that out. And my dad, he's my stepdad. My dad, I never call him stepdad, is my father. So my father goes like, give me your favorite shoe. So I gave him my shoe. So he went to the shoe shop, and he opened my shoes and put some life-changing things inside that. So yes, I'm getting ready, my passport, I'm packing my clothes, and then I arrived in my destination, and I'm excited that my parents are gonna be proud of me. And I didn't tell any of my friends or any family members. I just told my parents and told them to shoo because I don't know how my journey is gonna be like. So when I arrived, my dad goes, that shoe that you gave me, go and open that shoe. So when I opened that shoe, I realized I just cut it open with the knife, because he had actually went to the shoe shop and opened the thing and put the glue back on. So I didn't even realize it was open. It had been messed up. So
Okay.
and I opened it and I was like, I'm the richest girl on earth. So I was like, this is amazing. And then I ring my mom, she's like, how are you going to survive now that you've arrived? Because you need to think about, is the money that you have going to, and I was like, he didn't tell you. My mom was like, tell me what? And I was like,
Shoot.
and I was like, I have his savings. And my mom was like, what now? And I was like, yeah, he sorted me out. My dad has sorted me out. And it was something that I learned at that moment, that never judge anyone. If I had to judge my stepfather when I met him, I wouldn't have had the life that I had. If I had actually was a bitter child and say, why did my parents split up? I wouldn't have had that opportunity. So I've learned that moment that every step that I take, or every person that I meet, whether they are nice or they are not, I have to be grateful with that path that I came across, because that moment I find myself with my life-changing situation. And my dad was like, I believed in you when you told me about your dream and how much you wanted it. I watched you, how much you wanted to change your life. So I thought, let me do something so that you don't turn around and say we didn't try to help. So at that moment, I knew that it is good to actually believe in yourself, because you don't know the other person that is gonna believe in you. That's why it's good to work with your mind and find that one people that believed in you, and so that you can actually achieve where you want to go. Because sometimes you may say, I'm not going to tell this person, or you are surrounded by people. Just pick one person that believes in you. For me, it was my parents. I knew my parents believed in me in everything. Even when I made mistakes, they would never say, we told you so. They would just say, give me a hug, or say everything is gonna be okay, or my dad is just gonna take the scriptures and start preaching, and I'm like, oh my God. So that is good. So you have Elvis, Kamal, and Hanifa. They are really big fan for Nkosi Talk Show. Hanifa, she's a big fan. She's even got her label, a badge, of saying top fan of Nkosi Talk Show.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so you can reply to the messages later when you finish. So I'll reply to them as well. So they have your back. So wow. They are there. These are people who Nkosi Talk Show that they're like, we have your back. We are here for you. So thank you so much. Anything you want to add, Kamal?
I just want to let people know that it might be scary at times to look deep within yourself to figure out yourself, and it might even push you off the edge and tell you, you might tell yourself you don't want to do it anymore. But trust me, it's worth it. Trust me, that dig within yourself, that excavation, that exploration, once you reach it, once you're past halfway, you've done the hard work, and all that is left is for you to dig a little bit deeper, and you will find amazing things within yourself. So remember, don't give up on yourself, just dig deeper, and make sure to have the right support system around you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. Basically, before we leave, I wanted to ask you a question to help our audience. How do you actually map your mind using NLP?
Okay, so
I don't know anything about NLP. The reason why I'm asking is because for me to be able to be where I am today, when I was lost 10 years ago, I used Paul McKenna's programs, and it's actually helped me a lot with my mindset. So, can you help?
that one of the most important things that I that helped me figure out myself, at least how to map my mind, was to figure out my core values, how I want to live my life. That was the first clue for myself. And there are many like books and self-help books and websites that can tell you how to figure out core values, right? And we've spoken about it several times as well, I believe. That was one of the first things. And the second thing is I had to heal. I had to heal, and I had to accept the parts of me that were trying to protect me, that were frustrated against me, that were upset with me. Um, and that's how it all started. Now, mapping my mind for that success, or your mindset, as you put it, is practice. Is what do I want to do? How do I want to achieve it? And I go through this list of, specifically, it's called an outcome specification, right? Or the business world, they call it a SMART method, right? You have a specific outcome that is precisely toward dedicated in a positive way and a positive outcome for yourself. How you're going to achieve it, what are the first steps, what will you start with, will it impact people in your life, will it impact you, what will it do, and what resources do you need and what resource do you have. And once you map that, once you know your outcome, you can start by getting into the habit or putting in the work that needs to be done. So that's basically the start of mapping my mind. And after that, I learned about the mindset, which was more of states of mind, right? And that state of mind is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Is like, for instance, let's say I am going tomorrow out and I'm going to meet somebody that I don't like, right? And that person is going to, I know I get irritated, okay? Well, then I prepare myself, or I've prepared myself for whomever I'm going to meet that irritates me, on how I am going to handle the situation, how I want my behavior to be, how I want my feelings to be managed, how I want my emotions to be expressed, right? And with some NLP techniques, I get to put together all of that, and I do the visualization process. I visualize myself, I sit down and I see myself doing that action or reaction and being proactive and in the situation of all of that state of mind that I want to be. And I keep practicing it. And I don't do it just when I know that I'm going to meet somebody, but I do it for random things. So for instance, let's say I'm going to travel to France to meet my mom and my sisters, and I haven't met them in, like, I don't know, 2 years now, a year and a half. So how am I going to react when I'm going to see them? How do I want to react? I mean, they're my family, so I can cry. I don't have any problems with that. I will cry in public with them. There's no shame in that. But is there something that might make them feel uncomfortable? What is it? What do I know about them that will help me allow them to be more comfortable? Then I practice that. If you're going to do an interview, the same thing. So you have all of these states that you can create for yourself, and you keep practicing them. And now, no matter what happens, I'm like, it's very similar to a point where it's careless. Like, I really don't care whatever happens, because I know I can handle the situation. I'm not worried. So, and it's a learning process, like I said. So that's the most important thing. Notice your behaviors. Very important to notice your behaviors. Once you notice your behaviors, figure out how you want to change them. Bit by bit. Let's say you get angry with your children a lot and you yell, right? And you're constantly yelling. Notice when you're yelling, tell yourself, oh, I'm yelling now. Take a deep breath, take 3 seconds, calm your voice. Be angry, calm your voice. Don't yell. But notice it. And when you're alone, think, when I get angry next time, how do I want to react? What is the behavior that I want? Can I change it? Can I manage it?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kamal. I like it when you say basically you have to look at yourself and look at your behavior. It's like myself, like when I'm visiting my family know that they call me baby. They know that I love my hugs with my mom. Basically, when I'm going to town, I'm like this with my mom, because I've not seen her for a year or 2 years, and when I see her, because I've always been very close to my parents, and I'm not really ashamed of somebody seeing me holding my mom's hand, because she's my mom. So I love that, and that is the attitude that I don't hide with anyone. Even when I'm with my children spends time with their aunties, and when we are going out, they are busy with their aunties because they don't see them very often. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna have cuddles with my mom. So I remember the last time when I went home, my whole family, there was like 30 people in the room. So I was sitting next to my mom and cuddling with my mom, and everyone is looking at me as like, and I'm like, I'm not a baby, but she's my mom. Come on. So I'm like, she is my mom. I've not seen, when this is the woman that taught me to be who I am today. And I'm like, she is my mom. So I'm allowed to have cuddles. And the people were like, okay. And I'm like, yes. So it's just that character, like values and beliefs. I think is very, very important what you're saying, that you have to, because like for me to get to know you, I have to, like, if you understand your values and your beliefs, so I have to know that Kamal's beliefs are these. So, and those values cannot be crossed. And I know that, and I think that is very, very important for people to get to know the real you, so you can build that authentic relationship with someone. So thank you so much for that, and I hope our audience they have been taking notes, or whenever they listen to this, they're gonna take some notes, because it's very, very important for, even in relationships, to actually teach people how you like to be treated, and when somebody shows you their values, their beliefs, it means that they've sat down and thought about it. So it's very, very important. So thank you so much for that. So for those who are watching Ghost Talk Show, we are here Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. UK time. So you can join us, and if you are listening to this video, if you love it, please share some love with the other people by hitting the share button. And anything, words of encouragement, Kamal, you would like to leave with our audience?
Just find that power within you and dig deep.
Wow, that's powerful. Find that power within you and dig deep. That is really, really powerful. So thank you so much. So for me, what I will say is, you actually, as a person, you need to get to know yourself and accept yourself for who you really are. And if there are things that you need to work on yourself, just look at one problem and fix that problem and focus on it. Focus on you as well. Don't do things because you want people to like you, because like Kamal was saying, if you do things for people to like you, that means you're gonna give up. But if you do something because you know that it's your beliefs, it's your values, and you love what you do, you want to share that love with the other people, that means the people are going to look at you and say, oh, I watched you last month, I watched you a year ago, but you are still here. I'm ready to follow you. I'm ready to see what your this Ngozi talk show is about. So don't give up. Whatever you do in life, there's times where I've made a decision. I was telling you guys about the story about how my dad changed my life when I arrived to my destination. But what I didn't tell you is, although I had the money with me, there were ups and downs, because I had to learn to leave the culture in United Kingdom. I had to learn to live, basically to get to know people, and playing football with the immigration. So many things that I had to actually learn. And if you are not ready to fall, if you make a decision for success only, then you're gonna give up. Make a decision, do what you love. If you fall, pick yourself up and keep going. And that's why I'm here today. I have fallen so many times. And I even had my ex saying to me, Nomsa, you are really, really annoying, but you get things done. Because when I make a decision, I basically stick to it. With our child, there are times where I say, let's do this for our daughter. And he's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Doing things, I'll do it, and then you can come and approve it. And he's like, okay. And then when I send him a message to say it's done, have a look, he's like, how did you manage to do that? And I'm like, I just have to believe. Even if I'm scared, I just have to believe. Sometimes I do things even if I'm scared. I just have to tell fear that I'm okay. So that's what life is about. So thank you so much, and live with grace, everyone, and God bless you. Thanks, Kamal.